Oh, Taylor, you know what? I'll ask you a question about dating and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So Tom Brady was dating Giselle or Bundchen or something. I don't know. What is it?
She a supermodel?
Yeah. And she started getting like MMA or jiu-jitsu classes with like, I think, private instruction with this jiu-jitsu guy. And a lot of people believe that the downfall of the relationship, I mean, perhaps I assume there were other factors. She was rolling around getting choked out by this, authoritative jiu-jitsu teacher. They're touching each other. They're all that stuff. Have you personally seen a girl go in to jiu-jitsu and she's got some like computer engineer boyfriend, and then she leaves with like a fucking black belt or some shit? Have you seen that shit?
It definitely happens.
It happens.
But I feel like if a woman is going to be loyal to you, she's going to be loyal no matter what. I feel like it's just a matter of like, if your person is already tempted by other things and there's already flaws in your relationship, then of course they're going to stray. But I feel like if you guys already have a strong relationship, then your girl doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu isn't like the problem. You hear girls
and it's a sport
don't
too.
do any sport. Like, yeah, if you think of Jiu-Jitsu as like sexual or anything like that, then it seems like if you view it that way in the first place, then it's like, well, why do men do it with men? Is also the question. So it just kind of begs that question, but the sport itself isn't the problem. It's the individuals.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sentiment online that's like, if you're dating a girl, you can't let her do jiu-jitsu. You can't let her do it because she's going to want to fuck the fucking instructor or some other practitioner.
Wouldn't she just be like in a relationship with them if that's what she wanted to do?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so if you're worried about her wanting to like fuck her instructor, wouldn't she just do that? Why would she be with you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the temptation is there. She has the access.
I don't know. I feel like cheaters are going to cheat regardless, and so it's like.
I mean, sort of, but I think there's a component of if you put two people in a situation, you can like that sort of thing can.
You mean like bonding?
It can escalate, but
I mean, if there's no
it could be with any sport. So it could be with any sport, like any instructor, any type, anything, because it's like you're teaching someone like women are into learning.
There are specific activities and venues that if you're involved in, I think it can lead to infidelity. For example, I would say somebody, like if you're dating a woman who works in nightlife, I think that there's a higher probability, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, I think there's a higher probability for infidelity. There's alcohol involved, there's, that whole environment. There's guys who are going to be hitting on her. I think in that environment, infidelity, there's a higher probability.
No, I mean, not necessarily, as long as that person has strict boundaries.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not saying every single woman who works in nightlife is going to cheat. I'm saying there's a higher probability.
But I feel like with law enforcement, there's a higher probability of people cheating on their spouse.
They say salesmen do it too.
Like the highest
especially in law enforcement.
Yeah, nursing.
They say salesmen have a high probability as well.
Yep.
On the road all the time.
Airplane, what are they?
Rappers. Actors.
The steward.
Actors are big too, but I think to Brian's point, the question is there a line you draw for inappropriate behavior and appropriate behavior insofar as relationships between men and women when you are in a relationship?
But it's just kind of what you're willing to put up with, because different women and different men are willing to put up with.
Yeah, it's all down to preference and boundary.
You know what I mean? Because what you're gonna deal with, someone else isn't.
I don't think a sport should be.
Yeah, I don't think it's sports a deal breaker.
Hold on.
Like rolling around with a man. I mean, that's
okay. Well, men roll around with men too.
That does that.
No, but let's say she wasn't doing it, but she wants to get into it. Is it fair for the man to say, I don't want you to do that?
I mean, maybe you could be like, could you have a female trainer? Like, if you're that worried, you could just like become a trainer, learn it.
I mean, most jiu-jitsu places, it's not segregated like that. There's not segregated classes.
It'd be nice if it was.
There's usually a women's class at most jiu-jitsu gyms, but in general,
But generally speaking, like, I mean, sure, but like the majority of the classes are mixed.
I would assume they'd be segregated just because.
No, they're not.
There's such a difference in strength.
Well, there's other women there, and maybe like that'll be your partner.
I feel like
Interesting. Oh yeah, like a sparring partner. I've seen that.
Well, how about this? Do you guys know Acro yoga?
No.
Have you guys seen that shit?
Yes, Acro yoga. Yeah.
Quentin, do you do Acro yoga? Oh my God, this guy's gonna steal your girl, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Quentin, if I had a girlfriend, there's no way I'm letting my girl do Acro. Can we, Quentin? Can you Google Acro yoga?
It's aerobatic. So you're in the air doing yoga, right?
Google it because I don't know if everybody who's watching or they know.
Activity.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was.
So it's like a dude laying.
Oh, is it the guy that and he'll throw them in the air and do the
legs
with them?
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry, bro. If you're in a relationship,
I know plenty of healthy
that's like basically
relationships
foreplay.
Well, I mean, it just depends on what the boundaries in your relationship are. But
I would never.
Yeah, just do Windows. Show us in Windows tab. Is it F11?
I mean, I can understand the yoga, but
this guy.
That's not really
Well, this guy's not really. I mean, I've seen some studs. Yeah, but sure. I'm not scared of this guy, but go ahead. Sure, just so they know.
If I was a man, I wouldn't mind my partner being around the same.
Pause.
This is not happening in my relationship.
So this
What
is.
did you do today, honey?
This is
flying on Edgar.
We're talking about like the buff ones that are all hot.
It's fine.
yeah, I think
I'm still not letting
cool.
my girl do it, but I've seen some crazy ones where like
more intermingled, right?
Yeah.
So learn how to do that then.
I think it's fair as a
anything wrong with
guy
that.
in a relationship.
Or learn to do it together.
Hold on. I think it's fair as a guy in a relationship to be like, nah, you can't do that. I'm not letting you go do acro yoga with a dude.
Okay, well, vice versa, right?
If you walked in on that, I mean, that would be a headline for me. I'd be in the headlines if I walked in on that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You'd murder Jim Bob. You'd murder somebody. Would you murder your wife? Wait,
I don't know, but I would be in the headlines. I won't say specifically, but if you walked in a room and your wife is doing the flying in the sky with a dude, I mean, it's intimate. This is what it is. It's intimacy. It's not even like sexual kind of thing like cheating. You think of cheating. It's intimate.
If you
you
make
couldn't
it that
possibly
way.
say that it's not intimate, right?
I mean, you have to make it that way. It's like people go on Dancing with the Stars. Dancing is intimate, but there's a lot of people on Dancing with the Stars that are married, and as long your spouse has to be okay with
For
it.
how long?
I'm
For
not
how
sure.
long? How long
I
is
watched that when I was a
anyone
kid,
in, like
but
any type of thing, and you really married.
it's all up to the people you're in a relationship with.
I also
You have to just. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I interrupt you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just.
Private chat.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Just like to your sentiment that you were saying that if a man is in a relationship and he has an objection with his partner doing jiu-jitsu, I don't necessarily believe that has. I think that if you're a man who has an objection with your partner doing jiu-jitsu, then maybe you should just go do jiu-jitsu with her. Like, you can just be a part of the sport in that. I don't think that you should necessarily dictate her behavior.
Right.
I think that you can dictate your behavior around it. Like, if she really wants to do jiu-jitsu and learn self-defense, then I could understand that as a man, you might want to just go with her. But I don't think that it's like... But I think that as you get into the community, you'll realize how non-sexual the sport is in the first place.
I think it's only sexual if you
I'm not.
sexualize
Just to be
it.
clear, I'm not like downplaying the martial arts component of jiu-jitsu. It's a legitimate martial arts practice. It's extremely effective, but there's a component of I'm not. By doing this, I don't think we're sexualizing it. It's just look at what happened to Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Good looking, rich, best NFL quarterback ever status, and he can't hold on to his chick.
Do you know if he's a great person?
Yeah, he's probably cool. He's probably
Do you know how he is in a relationship with
if Tom Brady.
Brady, like people love LeBron.
Guys, one at a time, please. But if Tom Brady can't hold on to, like, literally he's like a 0.0001% top tier guy. If he can't hold on to his chick, and she did jiu-jitsu,
Well,
I'm banning my girl from doing jiu-jitsu.
But that's
Because
also
Tom
the
Brady
thing.
don't, because Tom Brady's not into it. He's like, you know what? We're not doing jujitsu no more. It's not the thing. You're like, my shorty's not going to jujitsu.
Also said something about it's not sexual, but I think you're speaking from a female perspective.
If anything, what if like she could protect you? I'm not saying I'm not doubting you ever.
I don't know if I would be with a man who required my protection.
Right.
Are you guys saying that a man wrestling with a woman, in this case jiu-jitsu, they're probably fit, probably in good shape, that the man won't examine the woman, if you will, if they're that close, if they're rolling around with their bodies and stuff? You think it's not sexual from the female perspective,
right.
But it's kind of naive to think a man having his impulses, having a woman right in front of him to wrestle with on the ground in all sorts of positions, isn't going to have some thoughts about that. That's, I think, what
right.
Ryan and I are saying. Like, we would know what the man is thinking in that environment, and that's why we wouldn't want to put our woman in that environment.
Right, to an extent. So that, everybody has intrusive thoughts. So sometimes you can have them and make them go away.
I will agree with that. I think that men and women are wired differently. And while we may not see it as wrong from our perspective, we don't know exactly how the male mind works. But one thing we do know for sure is that they're very physical. Mm-hmm. So it might not trigger something for us, but it might trigger something for them.
Very look driven. Yeah.
Can I ask something, Sherwin? Like, based on that video, is jiu-jitsu that intimate? Because, their faces were like...
Jiu-jitsu's a lot worse.
Oh, no, that was acro yoga.
Yeah, they're like
jiu-jitsu. I know, but is jiu-jitsu do you touch each other like that, or
you belly to belly?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Legs wrapped around each other, crotch inches away from somebody's face. If a triangle,
at times, yes.
Well, for the triangle,
But you're also doing that to people of your same gender,
sure,
and men are doing it to men,
right.
women are doing it to women, and vice versa.
Sure.
It all goes. I understand that people are saying that men are wired differently, but you can't maintain those thoughts while somebody's trying to choke you and break your arms. That's just, so I believe that if somebody was having those intrusive thoughts, they would very quickly be interrupted by the actual sport itself. Because if either of you guys are actually doing the sport at all, that's going to very quickly be interrupted by a submission. I trust my partner completely to roll with women, and I don't have a problem with that.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
He also does jiu-jitsu, and I don't mind him rolling with women.
Yeah, I will say that trust is a big deal in a relationship. It's a must. If there's no trust, is there a relationship really?
I agree. I trust my partner completely, and I would never expect that type of behavior from him. So
that's great.
And I would hope he would never expect that from me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I had no idea it was that.
Which one of you would have a negative reaction if you were in jiu-jitsu and then your husband or your boyfriend said, "No, I don't want you doing that"?
I think I would just have, I would have a negative reaction just because, I don't know, he's telling me, I guess if it was my husband it'd be different, but if he was my boyfriend, if I could make money some kind of way doing it, or, I don't know. I personally wouldn't even want to grapple with a guy because it doesn't make any sense to me, though. So I wouldn't do it in the first place.
The thing is, if you're going to jiu-jitsu class regularly, you're probably going to be practicing or rolling with guys.
I think it's different if it's an instructor, but I feel like if they're teaching you something.
It's going to be another student, probably.
Yeah, then I wouldn't prefer to do that in general just because of my own preferences. Sure. Just as I wouldn't want my boyfriend doing it, honestly, with a woman either.
Yeah, and I'll say if a guy's doing jiu-jitsu and he's taking it seriously to want to improve, I think he would want to practice with someone in that same level. It wouldn't make sense for him.
Well, it's weight class, but
exactly, it's weight class. So he would I would assume the logical thing to do is to find someone in the weight class in that same gender.
I agree.
I
think it's very easy
it doesn't really give you an excuse to I'm practicing jiu-jitsu, so that's why I have a female partner. Because you can easily select a male partner.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right? That's an option.
Yeah, that's an option. Conversely, if you're a woman in jiu-jitsu, in the example of my boyfriend, say if he's very skilled and I trust him completely, and I'll even recommend that women roll with him because I know he's safe and I know he's not going to do anything weird or think about them in that way, and I know he can show them new moves and stuff like that. So if I just rolled with that woman and they're just oh, who else is safe? And there's not a partner available to them. I'm just oh yeah, grab my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're talking to a girl and you meet her and she's already involved in jiu-jitsu, I think it's going to be a harder sell to say stop. But if you've been dating her for 6 months, a year, whatever, and then she's like, I want to start, I think you have far more leverage in that situation to be like, don't like it, don't do it.
It's okay
and
to speak your
this
mind.
idea, but I'm curious, who here, kind of piggybacking off of Jim Bob's point, who here, because I know some of you don't currently do jiu-jitsu, but if you had a boyfriend and he said you were considering it and he said no, would you have an issue with that? I think you raised your hand.
I would probably have an issue with that.
You have an issue with that? Okay. And so what, would that be a breakup for you?
I mean, I wouldn't break up with someone over that. I mean, I would just do the jiu-jitsu if I wanted to do it. And it's like, if it's a problem to you that much, like, I guess it's a problem to you.
Sure. So I think the guy's position would essentially be, well, you can go do it, but we're not dating anymore. It was nice to know you.
Yeah,
That's typically how it goes.
Me doing like jujitsu, and obviously my like going into it, I wouldn't be seeing it as like a sexual thing, and like if it was a problem for him, if like the relationship was only if he had to break up with me because I'm doing jujitsu, then I wouldn't. I don't know. That's on him.
Is there anything a guy can tell you not to do that you would not do?
I mean, like when I was involved with that one guy I was talking about, he didn't love that I like went out a lot, but I still went out. I just wouldn't go out as frequently. Like I don't know, I'm still gonna live my life regardless. It's all about a preference game.
But so question though, it seems like at least with that guy wasn't super serious. You say you never had a boyfriend, so I mean you didn't have the title. When you get the title though, let's say this is the perfect guy, by the way, perfect guy, but he has conditions. One of these conditions is don't want you to go out anymore. Do you accept the condition, or is the relationship over?
It'd probably be over, because if he didn't want me to go out, he wouldn't be the perfect guy for me.
Could you compromise and go out together?
Yeah, I mean, I could totally compromise, but if it's never gonna be the perfect guy if he's like, you cannot go out.
Yeah. So
because
to
I'm
be
very
clear,
social.
I'll explain it differently. So when I say perfect guy, it's perfect but this. So it's like perfect, but he doesn't like, okay, so what is your sense of what perfect means? He's like insanely attractive. He could have all the characteristics that you prefer or have a strong interest in. He could be rich. He could be all the things. So I'm perfect guy. Like, question for you. Do you think you'll end up with a perfect guy?
I don't know. I don't think everyone's like perfect.
Exactly.
So I think it just comes
perfection
down to
is extremely rare, right? Yeah. Most people are going to end up, like, for example, an average person is going to end up with an average person.
Right.
And you might have good fit with each other, but there are going to be some things that are less than ideal, less than perfect about a person. But people make these sort of trade-offs in relationships where it's like, well, they've got like a Pokemon card collection, or like other, maybe they mildly annoy me in this one way, but I still love them and they're great, whatever. Yeah. People are rarely like 100% perfect.
Right.
But so just to be clear, you're not willing to sacrifice going out for the perfect guy?
Well, it depends how old I am. And also, I guess it's, okay, well, I don't know. It has to do with a trust thing too, because I don't drink or smoke, and obviously I'm not intimate with a ton of people. And so what would realistically be the problem? Like, I'm just going out having fun with my friends, and I'm normally the driver a lot, so it's
Wait, what do you say?
Sorry, you should be allowed to go out with your friends. I mean, that's fine.
When you say go out with your friends, though, do you mean what? Because go out with your friends could mean you guys go get brunch, or you go to the club and you guys are drinking, and there's a bunch of other men.
I personally don't drink either, yeah.
Yeah,
if you did drink, but if you did drink,
I used to drink, and I used to, party with my ex-boyfriend, and I don't know. I let him go out and do whatever he wanted to do. Really, like I trusted that he wouldn't cheat on me.
And I probably wouldn't go. Sorry.
The question Brian is pointing to for chair 1, 2, 5, 6. Is there a threshold at which the man you're with, even if they're not your husband yet, you'll actually honor the obligation to the relationship over your preferences to do whatever, right? Because there's this sort of rebellious feminist spirit that you're sort of showing here, is that ultimately in the end, it's whatever you want in the end. And I'm wondering, we're asking, at what point
guys, stop. No, go ahead.
For yourself. At what point? Like, when is it? Because you said I'm young. It depends how old I am. So, what? But the thing is, what are you, 25?
Me? I'm 18.
Yeah. Oh, you're 18. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are young. So in the instance where you meet a man and like Brian said, he's perfect, and the only imperfection you find is that he wants to settle down. He sees you as the mother of his children. He sees you as his wife, his long-term thing. And you see this for him as well. But the only thing is you just want to do a little eat, pray, love on the weekends and potentially be pursued by other young men. We're asking
No,
you,
if I'm in a relationship, I don't want to be pursued by other people.
No, I'm saying that you will be.
Oh, okay.
You'll be putting yourself in the situation. We're asking you, at what point do you abandon your preferences and your wants to honor and follow the obligations of the relationship?
I think compromise is key. I don't think it should be one way or the other. I think there should be a medium.
What you're saying.
But what is it for you, though? That's what Brian.
Well, like I said, I went out less. I would go out with him. Like when I was like involved with someone, I didn't go out as much. I would go out with him. I'd update him all the time. I'd text him frequently. But if like the end point is that I'm okay, you cannot go out at all, it probably wouldn't be the right person for me because I'm really social. I like to go out. And it's like I'm obviously not doing anything. I'm not intimate with a ton of people. I'm not drinking. So I just don't really think it's my problem. Yeah.
Here, I got a question. Or Jim Bob, did you have a follow-up or?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So if we're looking at the perfect guy.
Okay.
So this perfect guy, he could, whatever that perfect guy looks like to you, at least from my perspective, having had quite a bit of dating experience, finding somebody who's compatible and who's remarkable, who's exceptional. I mean, perfect goes even beyond exceptional and remarkable, is exceedingly rare. It's exceptionally rare. In fact, perfect doesn't even exist. So I would make all sorts of, I guess, I don't know if sacrifices is the right word. I would make maybe concessions even. I would make plentiful concessions and sacrifices for the perfect woman. But like, you just, okay, hold on. I don't go out to bars and clubs. You're not willing to make that trade-off to me? I mean, hey, that's you.
I guess I'm seeing it as like, you're saying this is my perfect person, and I think my perfect person would be okay with that.
But
does the perfect person make you stop doing everything you need to do in your life?
Okay, do you like do you like ice cream?
Yeah, I like ice cream.
Okay, question. For the perfect guy, you could never, it's not something that the guy is imposing upon you. In the hypothetical scenario, you are delivered the perfect guy on a silver platter. But in order to do that, you have to grant to the universe that you won't participate in certain behaviors. Would you give up eating ice cream for the perfect guy?
I mean, I don't think I should have to live my life around someone else, even if there's
I just granted.
I know, but even if they're the perfect person for me, they're not.
But the perfect guy, he's not imposing this through his will on you. The universe is saying, "I'm giving you a trade."
Doesn't even make sense.
So it's not. It's a hypothetical. Of course, it makes sense. So the universe is presenting to you a scenario. Here's a perfect guy, but you can no longer eat ice cream.
Okay.
So he's not the one who's enforcing.
Does he let her go out?
Huh?
Is he the perfect guy? Does he let her go out?
Well, first answer the ice cream one.
I probably wouldn't want to give up ice cream. I really like ice cream.
Bro, you guys are insane.
Okay, look, I would like to interject here.
She's
if
never
I'm trying
had
to settle
sex, she
down
likes
and I
ice
have to
cream.
give up ice cream, like I'll give up ice
So you
cream.
get your fun in, you have your ice cream parties. Okay.
I'd like
if this is someone I see.
She also said I don't want to give up anything I want for someone else, right? Well, what do you think motherhood's going to be?
Okay, you keep saying motherhood.
I didn't say. Okay, what I meant was I'm not going to change how I am because someone I want to pursue doesn't like how I am. I'm just not the right person for them. It's all about preference. So it's like if I'm not the right person for someone, I'm not.
No, hold on a second.
Not everybody wants kids.
I'm trying to interrupt, but this is nonsense. You have this view that when you meet someone, the perfect match is that every in which way that you are should be good enough. What if it's the case that the man who you meet helps you? And what if it's the case that you help that man and his flaws and you help each other? To start with this approach, it's super naive. Okay, I'm granting you some charity because you're 18, but it's very naive to go into relationships and looking at this paradigm through the lens of, I am who I am. Nobody I meet could ever contribute to me in a positive way by me filtering out some of the bad things that I like.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying that I don't have room to grow and change, and I think other people could help me grow and like change. But if it's something that I enjoy doing, I'm probably not the right person for them. If they want me to stop doing something, so if I'm talking about soccer, if they don't want me to play soccer anymore, probably not the right person for them. Just how I see it.
From what I think in a relationship, also it's when, to me, it's putting that person as giving them a priority, and I expect the same from them. So if they want me to stop doing something and I trust that person, and that's what makes them part of that, makes them a perfect person, is because I trust their judgment, I trust their initiative. If they ask me to stop to do something, I would want to understand why where that is coming from. And if it's something that makes sense for both of us and it's not coming out of an insecurity, then yes, I would comply. I would comply if it's something that's going to make us grow together, if it's going to make us move forward.
Let's swap it for a second. You ladies have probably met many of men who stay up until 3 a.m. Playing video games or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I used to date a video gamer.
Right. So if you thought that maybe giving your opinion about that said, I don't think this is actually good for you, and because it's not good for you, it's not good for us, let's say hypothetically. I'm not even saying I agree with this. I'm just saying from your perspective, wouldn't it be reasonable and justified from your position to say something and say, you know what, even though you like staying up until 3 a.m., what sucks is that we don't have good mornings together. We don't have coffee together and talk and do all these other things that are bonding. You're up late playing video games, and it's actually to the detriment of the next day. If he said to you, well, I'm just doing what I love, and if you don't accept me staying up until 3 a.m. playing video games, then honey, I ain't right for you.
I don't.
Yes, you can try.
I actually do agree with that statement. If that man truly just wants to be up at 3 a.m. playing video games, and that's like who he believes that he is as a person, then you guys aren't right for each other. I don't think it's like necessarily your place to change who that person is.
But I also think it's not necessarily the gaming. It's not necessarily It's not necessarily the gaming that's the problem. It's the effects of the gaming. So there's a problem from the gaming. So it's them not waking up and having a good morning. What would the problem of me going out be? Because I'm not drinking, I'm not being intimate with anyone. I'm literally just having fun with my friends and being DD.
It just increases your likelihood of being in a dangerous situation.
I'd like to add on to that, though. What are the potential ramifications? Jim Bob said, well, it increases the chances of you being in this situation. Do you want a guy who's a leader?
Yeah.
Do you want a guy who can protect you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want a guy who's a leader, you want a guy who can protect you. Part of men protecting women is through our leadership, we don't want you guys to be put in potentially dangerous situations.
Okay.
So we know that women get roofied at parties and bars and clubs.
That's why
we know that there's a higher likelihood of her being assaulted in some kind of way, whether physically or otherwise. So
people get shot at the store nowadays.
Yeah, I mean,
Bro, hold on, just to be clear, I've been to Trader Joe's a fuck ton. I've never seen a fight break out in Trader Joe's. Hold on. Let me address her thing. I've been to Trader Joe's a bunch. I've never seen a fight break out ever to Trader Joe's.
I've been to the store many times. I've seen fights.
Every time I've been out, and I don't go out anymore, every time I've been out, somebody's getting knocked the fuck out. Every single time
you go to hood rat bars?
I'm going.
I don't understand.
No, here in Santa Barbara, you go to the bars downtown. You go party at the college. There's multiple fights. You can listen. I mean, I never do this, but if you want, listen to the police scanner. People are getting knocked out. My dad was a sheriff. All this stuff. People are getting into fights.
A security guard. He told me all about the bars, but I've also worked in bars, been in bars. You just have to keep your wits about you.
Why are there bouncers in bars? Why do bars? Have you ever seen a bouncer at a Trader Joe's?
I mean, I've seen security guards. I'm from LA. There's security guards everywhere.
Security guard.
I don't see security guards at. I mean, if
maybe
you're in a dangerous area,
near small towns
but like here in Santa Barbara, you go to Trader Joe's. There's not a security guard.
LA, there is.
You go to a bar or nightclub, there's a security. There's bouncers.
There's security all over the place.
In the Trader Joe's, the ones in Milpas, the grocery stores in Milpas, they have like a security guard.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a homeless problem.
Milpas is kind of a little sketchy area.
But Santa Barbara.
But to your point, like going out, I'd be in danger. So yesterday I got off of work and it was broad daylight and I work by the beach and I went to go see my friends who were also at the beach and I was parallel parking and some guy came up to my window and was trying to open my door and was kissing my window and like being gross and being being creepy.
It happens everywhere.
Sure, I'm not.
Am I
as a woman?
No, but so then with your logic, would it be, okay, so after work, I have to go straight home because I can't put myself in danger? Like, you can be, no, you're making a face, but you said that going out.
It's true, though. As a woman, we're subjected to it 24/7.
Wait a second. Do you think that maybe the chances increase at night for your danger as opposed to just citing this one anecdotal thing during the day that may have happened?
Yeah, I mean, they can increase at night, but also if you're, I don't know, being responsible when you're going out, your chances are probably just as high as they are during the day.
Never drink open drinks, etc.
No, they're not.
They are. As a woman, you have to put yourself in a woman's perspective, just like how you say we need to put our mind in a man's perspective when doing jiu-jitsu, right? You know, what is he thinking about? What's a woman thinking about? We can't walk down the street with our headphones in, even in broad daylight. I'm constantly looking around, constantly observant, lock my car as soon as I get in it. I don't care if I'm sitting in my driveway because of how much I've been subject to it.
Okay.
Just the other day at the store.
Super simple question. Is it like pretty much anywhere in the world? Anywhere in the world, is it safer at night or during the day?
Safer at day.
Yeah, day is a bit safer, but it can still happen.
Daytime safer. Yes, I agree that crime can happen at any time of the day. I agree with you. But nighttime's typically worse. And when it comes to environments where there's alcohol and there's potentially guys who knows what they're trying to do, that's within the purview. I think if you're a smart enough woman to assess the situation, and as long as you're not, getting shot at or something, it's different. It's something you can control. You can get yourself out of situation. Don't put yourself. You can be in a nightclub and still not put yourself in a bad situation. Right.
Or figure out how to get out of it.
I'm giving you the male perspective on one of the reasons why, in terms of our lens of wanting to be protectors, which you guys allege you want, that would be within the purview of leadership and protection. We don't want you putting yourselves in these sorts of dangerous environments. So that's one of the things. But also as it relates to leadership, if we're saying, I don't want you to do this, so in order for there to be a leader, there has to be a follower.
I've done a lot of things for guys that say, I don't want you to do this, I don't want you to do that. When it comes to going out, my job requires a lot of going out. Actually, there's a lot of things I need to do as an actress when it comes to going out afterwards or being involved in film festivals or meeting up at bars for different things like that. But
talent rises to the top. I don't care. You're going to go to the bars. No.
You do have to go out a lot. There's a lot of...
Yeah, networking is a component.
It's hosted at a lot of venues that are clubs a lot of times.
If you're genuinely talented, you'll rise to the top.
Yeah, and then there's things like, I've just been asked not to do a lot of things in relationships, but even in music videos, you get too close to the guys or something. When I was in a relationship, there was a guy who didn't want me to be next to the guy at all or have any physical contact. And there's been a lot of times where I've been submissive and it still doesn't work out because he's so insecure. No matter what I did, even if I was I'm just in the music video, getting my picture taken, whatever, he can make up anything. There's times where guys just ask you to do so much and then keep asking for more and more.
Are you saying the guy that you were with was feeling insecure because you were on a music video?
Right, yeah, I was in a music video and I was next to the guy. We basically were a couple in the music video is what it was like. I wasn't like twerking or anything. We were just in the music video as a couple, and then he saw it. He said, I'm not okay with that. I'm not comfortable with it. And I said, okay, well then I won't do that anymore. Like I won't be next. I won't have any physical contact with guys in the music video from now on.
Like actress or something? Is that like your ideal situation for you?
Right, and I'm comfortable not signing certain contracts saying that you have to have physical contact or anything like that because I think it protects us both mutually in the relationship. I wouldn't go on screen and be fully nude, for example, because that's not something I would like either. Or have an intimate scene. Yeah, I wouldn't. If I'm in a relationship with somebody, I'm not going to go and kiss someone on screen, and I would sign a contract saying that I'm not going to be intimate with anyone.
Oh, so going back to the leadership thing, y'all want a guy who's a leader, but you're not prepared to be followers. So stop demanding leaders if you're not prepared to follow. And part of following means you got to follow his lead.
But a leader. Sorry.
So
a leader.
Y'all, go ahead.
A leader doesn't command you. It doesn't order you around. That's not the definition of a leader. A leader guides. It doesn't order you. There's a difference, and
Of course, a leader can tell you what to do.
No. But that's guiding. That's guiding, not ordering. Like sit down.
No, that's a guidance counselor.
It's okay to have conversations.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you guys.
That's a guidance counselor. That's not a leader. That's a guidance.
There's difference between doing for her. Sorry, is he paying all of her bills too? Then, right? He's paying all of her bills and doing all that for her. He's providing everything, right? He's leading and providing.
If he is, what does he get in return?
If he's doing, like I said, I'm fine with doing certain things for a guy when he is doing a lot for me as well and showing that he cares. To me, it's okay. Yeah, I'm okay with doing certain things for them. I've like I said, I've laid down a lot of my career opportunities. Things that could. There's things that can enhance your career. You don't have to twerk on screen or whatever, but being even in physical contact, you can't. He didn't want me to put my arm around anybody and taking pictures, like things like that. There's extremes.
I'm guiding you not to go to the club.
Okay.
Okay. So then
I've dated club promoters. I don't understand.
Bro, stop. She brought up a specific. It's not all about you. We're speaking in generalities here. I get you're involved in the nightlife, whatever. We're speaking in generalities. In her case, she doesn't have any work relation to going out to bars and clubs, so her career is not going to suffer, right? So I'm speaking in generalities when I'm making these statements. But
I also, Brian, the definition of leader is a person who leads or commands a group, organization, or country, which would include an individual. So the word command is in the definition of leadership. But that's the difference between men and women. A man would include command, point, direction, lead, and a woman would use the word guidance. Like if Brian and I were like in a discussion and there was like a disagreement and he was like, I command this, you're on this show, I command that you do this, and I go, well, can't you guide me? It wouldn't work. This is not leadership. So men actually can't be leaders of families. They can't be fathers. They can't even be leaders of organizations or anything else without commanding. But the feminist view is that they have to lead in a passive feminine way. So they're kind of like a chick leader. Like, I want a strong man who leads and provides, but I want them to be a chick leader. I want them to lead in a feminine way. You're not going to get the kind of men. You're just going to get a bunch of feminine men if that's leadership to you.